What's up, folks? Brian Jester here, co-founder at Occupy Fantasy, and we're back with another video. This time to give you some PGA DFS picks and lineup advice, FanDuel, DraftKings, and Yahoo for the Travelers Championship that starts Thursday morning. And we're going to use our tools at OccupyFantasy.com, show some highlights from the daily plug, and our Occupy model to give you some strategies and tips to help you make profitable lineups for this tournament. If you're not already, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. That way you're notified when all of our latest videos are released. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Any questions you have about PGA DFS, this particular event, DFS in general, drop a comment below and we'll be sure to get back to you. Now, again, like I said, we will be using the daily plug, which is what you'll see on screen here. We'll be also using the Occupy model, and it is free now, and it's going to be free until a major North American team sport returns, OccupyFantasy.com, which sounds like it'll be July 24th for the MLB. Fingers crossed that can hold on to that scheduled start date, and it's at that point that we'll bring up the paywall on all of our content. So go take advantage of it now while it's free. One more thing, we are going live tonight on Twitch, 10 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/OccupyFantasy to answer your questions live. Our Twitch subscribers do get access to our Discord channel where all of our members are chopping up about different DFS topics. So I encourage you to do that as well. Now, I was hoping to upload this video earlier this morning and today, but with the uncertainty around the withdrawals and the tournament even happening due to the COVID concerns, had to make it a little later, but it sounds like the tournament is on. I think we have a final list of withdrawals, but I do think this is a tournament where we'll have to probably be awake before lock tomorrow morning, which is pretty rare for PGA DFS, but in the event that we get some late scratches due to concerns about the testing, player safety, whatever it may be, then we may see some late withdrawals. So I would encourage you to be sure to double check your lineups before lock tomorrow morning. All right, so what you see on screen here is our daily plug, OccupyFantasy.com, written by Niramata, a top PGA DFS player, and he goes through his thoughts on his player pool, what we need for this tournament in particular, and then some lineup strategies, low risk and high risk contests. Let's start by looking at this particular course, River Highlands, and similar to the first two courses we've seen on the PGA Restart, again, premium on accuracy and making birdies, greens and regulation, approach play. Stop us if you've heard this before with the last two tournaments. So, yeah, again, the stats that we're looking for, that Niramata is looking for, once again, greens and regulation, fairways gained, approach shots, birdies are better, and then, of course, our proprietary putting variance metric. And Niramata himself points out some proximity numbers, great from 125 yards and in. So it's something to keep in mind as well. So we'll likely see a lot of similar names at the top of the Occupy model as we have the first 2 weeks, just because the course profile is very, very similar. So let's hop over to the Occupy model and let's take a look at projected ownership. Now, again, that's OccupyFantasy.com. It's our model that ranks every player on the slate, FanDuel and DraftKings and Yahoo. And it updates automatically when betting odds change, as ownership projections change. If anything changes with the golfer's outlook, it'll change automatically. And we have projected ownership both FanDuel and DraftKings. Now, we'll probably get another update here in the next couple of hours. I'm recording this at 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And with the Webb Simpson withdrawal, the Brooks Koepka withdrawal, that will be the primary drivers of change as far as ownership goes, because both of those guys were going to get a good amount of exposure in people's lineups. So golfers in similar price ranges will likely see a bump here. So I encourage you to check back after you watch this video to see if there are any major updates. So let's start on DraftKings, and we'll see some pretty popular golfers here. Victor Hovland, Joaquin Niemann, who actually is the cover boy in this week's Daily Plug. Niramata likes him a lot and wrote him up. I encourage you to go read that. Bryson, Sungjae, Answer, Justin Thomas, Morikawa. Quite a few more golfers above that 15% mark than we've seen projected in recent weeks. More concentrated at the top. Again, a couple of the top golfers have dropped out. So we'll see concentrated ownership in those top tier golfers because of that. So that's something to keep in mind. We'll have a higher pool of players to choose from for our high risk, our high owned anchors in our lineups. Remember, high risk lineups, we don't want more than 2 golfers at 15% or more ownership. So we'll have a lot of guys to pick from this week because of the condensed ownership. We'll go over to FanDuel. And again, because of the pricing over there, we'll see higher numbers for the top tier guys. Bryson and Justin Thomas, in particular this week, eclipsed the 20% mark over on FanDuel according to projected ownership. So, again, OccupyFantasy.com is where you want to check these metrics out and continue to get updates throughout the evening and into the morning. The other great thing about the model, we can look at line moves. Niramata is going to update this afternoon, the Daily Plug, with his Wednesday update like he normally does, which looks at the biggest line moves at Pinnacle Sports, one of the sharpest sports books in the world, to see which of the sharpest groups in the world are betting for this tournament. But we can also look in our model for biggest line moves. Now, again, we always want to look at a percentage of the total odds, not necessarily a 15,000 cent move for someone like Denny McCarthy. But we look at guys, let's look at the top of the model. We see guys like Rory has a small bump in his line move. Victor Hovland, who is the highest projected ownership, also sees a big move in his line from plus 5,500 to plus 4,000. A couple other guys here, Justin Thomas, Scotty Scheffler, who ranks really high in our model and gets a 400 cent move in his favor. Other guys, Joaquin, another high-owned golfer. Let's scroll down here so you can see this on the screen. Minus 700 cent move. So started the week as a plus 4,000 favorite to win the tournament. He's now plus 3,300. That's a good thing for his outlook. And then right around him, Sergio Garcia, Dustin Johnson, Doc Redman, our boy who always ranks high in the model, 5,000 cent move, and then a couple others if you scroll down. If we look at the opposite direction, really not a ton of golfers getting moves against them, and I would have to venture to say this is because of the shrinking field. Most golfers are getting sharp line moves because of the smaller field, especially with Koepka and Webb Simpson out. Odds to win certainly increase for most of the golfers in the field, especially at the top end range. So that's bad news for Spieth, Xander, and Patrick Reed if they see a line move against them in this environment. Again, this will continue to be updated through the night into the morning. OccupyFantasy.com. All right, and let's look at a couple highlights from the Daily Plug. So we talked about Neiman, Usman, all contest types, projected ownership nearing 20% on both sites. And again, Niramata thinks this is good chalk. Great rounds since the restart. Third in the entire field last week in strokes gained to tee to green, strokes gained approach. The model likes him, so certainly a good play in all contest types on both sites. Justin Thomas, Niramata thinks will be the leader in the betting markets by Thursday morning. Brian Harman, who actually, if we go back to the model, and let's use the search feature here, Harman, we'll see Harman has had a big move in his favor as well, 1,400 cents, plus 8,000 to plus 6,600. So betting markets and Niramata aligned in this play as well. Sebastian Munoz, who you may not hear much this week, especially his ownership projected at around 5%, was definitely a strokes gained favorite if you were playing Showdown last week down at the Hilton Head tournament. And you'll see here, as Niramata points out, when Munoz does make the cut, he likes to finish near the top. Definitely iffy making the cut. Let's see if we go back to the cut percentage in the model. Yeah, we'll see just a pretty low figure of 63%. Not something you want in a low risk lineup, but Munoz, when he does make the cut, 63% of the time, has a good chance of outperforming his expectations. And I don't want to go through the rest of these guys, give you everything, give you something to read. OccupyFantasy.com. The Daily Plug link at the top. So go check that out. Anything else that we need to talk about here before we get out of here? Paul Casey, we probably need to discuss just because he hasn't played since the restart. So definitely some extra risk. But it doesn't like ownership is factoring that risk into account at all. 16% projected ownership despite having not played in a competitive tournament in months. So, but again, projected ownership and his ranking in the model. Let's clear the search feature and we'll see. Yeah, Paul Casey ranks third in the model. So, yeah, pretty good outlook for him as well. One final thing. Again, I said you need to go read the plug, but I'll give you one more piece of advice here. So if you read this strategy section, this is the most important thing. We talk about it in high-risk contests, low-risk contests, the strategies you need. Go check this out. It's very important on how to build lineups for different contest types. And as you see here, Bombers have won here before, but again, at this particular tournament, the defining characteristic of the average winner is deadly accurate iron play. That's a big factor in this week's model, big factor in Niramoto's top plays in the daily plug. So again, approach, strokes gained, tee to green, driving accuracy, fairways gained, all those, which are generally important, are even more important here as we've seen the first 2 weeks of the PGA resuming. So, all right, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate you listening. Be sure to check us out tonight, twitch.tv/OccupyFantasy. If you're watching this after 10 p.m. Eastern, you can always check the replay out at the same spot. Just check out our videos tab on twitch.tv/OccupyFantasy. Subscribers there do get access to our Discord channel. We're going to be putting out still videos every couple days, especially with UFC here for the foreseeable future. So we'll have a video out Friday night, Saturday morning for that. So go ahead and click subscribe below. That way you get notified whenever our latest videos are released. If you must know the second that our videos are released, click the bell notification button. You'll get a notification on your phone or on your YouTube account. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Any questions you have, hit us up below. And I also want to hear from you. Who is your favorite play this week? Comment below with your favorite play. I'm curious to see if we can get someone to project the winner in our comment section. So do that for us. All right, OccupyFantasy.com is where you can get all of this information. Daily plug, Occupy model remains free until a major North American team sport returns. All right, I'm Brian Jester, Occupy Fantasy. Appreciate you listening. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.